Welcome to this video on which way is smart. Everybody points us in a different direction when we use the word smart. Do you know which direction to take? The first part, we're going to have a look at understanding what we mean by the word smart. So we probably think we know what we mean by smart, but if we try and break it down, let's have a look and see if we actually do. Do we mean the ability to communicate bidirectionally? Do we mean collaboration with other components? Do we mean having multitasking capability? Or do we mean having wide-ranging functionality? And finally, do we mean access to information that's valuable that we wouldn't otherwise have access to? It's all of the above, right? It seems we'll definitely need a little comic relief through this video. As Dr. Seuss tells us, sometimes the questions are complicated, but the answers are simple. Let's start first of all by thinking, where is that smartness in the network that we have? Is it in the device? Is it in the communication between the components? Or is it at the network nodes or at the central server? Well, the smartness has to be everywhere, otherwise the desired collaborative outcome isn't really realized. And what about this concept of smart prepayment? I'm sure you've heard it bandied around. Well, it's also known as virtual prepayment or thin prepayment. And this is where the consumer's account is held at a central server, as is the case, for example, with prepaid phones. There's nothing new there, instead of being on the meter itself. An AMI smart meter takes and sends readings at regular intervals, which are rated immediately via server and deducted from the consumer's prepaid account. If the prepaid account at the server runs out, the system will instruct the meter to disconnect the supply. When the consumer tops up their prepaid account by making a payment and it's registered at the server, the system will instruct the meter to reconnect the supply. By contrast, prepayment meters use tokens or vouchers to pre-purchase a commodity and transfer that credit via the voucher to the prepaid account in the meter. Because the roads to smart lead everywhere, if you want to go smart, you need to know what you want and what you don't want. Sounds simple enough, but then we need to know what there is. So let's look at the overall topology of a smart ecosystem. Meters measure and control the delivery of a commodity. These can either be connected directly to a head-end system or more often connected to a concentrator, also known as a hub or kiosk. A large meter install base usually necessitates a divide and conquer approach using concentrators, where the concentrators talk to the meters in the near vicinity. Metrological data has to be received and sent to meters, and this is done by a head-end system, sometimes known as a meter data collector. The Meter Data Manager, or MDM, is a single central repository for all metrological data, and only that. The word MDM is very abused in the industry, and some people regard it as the CRM system or the financial system, which it is not. It is a repository for metrological data only. What we need from each component in the topology is often very different depending on the level we're talking about, and also based on the consumer type, because different consumer types have different measurement needs, such as the types, quality, availability, and visibility of data. High-end consumers will have high-end needs, so service levels must be balanced with the business case for each consumer type. This completes the first section of understanding what we mean by smart. Now in part 2, we'll look at some home truths about every component in the smart topology. As Spock would say,
that would seem logical.